Welcome back everyone to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. Today I'm going to be making papadums and mint chutney, aka pudina. These are very delicious appetizers served at many Indian restaurants. Papadums are a spiced Indian flatbread or cracker enjoyed with a variety of chutneys or even the carrot pickle. I love that as well. Papadums are also associated with female empowerment in India, and I'll tell you more about that later on. But in the meantime, let's head over to the kitchen and get cooking! I'm using 1 green chili for this mint chutney so that it won't be as spicy for shimmy. I'm chopping it up because I want to ensure it's evenly distributed, although it's going in the food processor. I'm adding 2/3 of this shallot. I'm just going to slice it up for the same reason. I microplaned some of the ginger and the rest I chopped up. So we may get some little pieces of ginger in the final chutney, which may be a nice surprise. I'm going to juice half of 1 lemon here. I have a bunch of mint that I've washed and dried, and we're going to want 1 whole cup. We'll pack it into the cup. Some of the smaller delicate stems I'm going to leave in as well. I'm going to want 2/3 of a cup of cilantro. I'll chop right through these stems and include them. They're all delicate. So this is a 1/3 cup that I have here. So I'll pack it up with our cilantro 2 times. Don't worry about being absolutely precise. First we'll put in our mint and cilantro. We'll add in the shallot, the green chili, and the ginger. I'll add a little bit of my herbed salt here. And I'm adding in 1/8 of a teaspoon of our chaat masala. Actually, I'm going to add 1 more. With chaat masala, if you're not familiar with it, it has an eggy flavor. So if you're not used to it, you may want to try it a little bit at a time. We're going to add in our lemon juice here. Now it's time to blend it up. And I think I'm going to add some more lemon juice. I'll just juice the other half of the lemon. Now I'll go ahead and add our extra lemon juice to the mix. A lot of people like to add some water to thin out the chutney. So feel free to do so. This is going to be a bolder flavor this way. More concentrated. We're going to preheat our oven to 300 Fahrenheit and we'll get 2 cups of our chickpea flour. I'm just grinding some black pepper in this jar here so I can measure it out properly. We want 1 teaspoon of our black pepper. and 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. I'm going to microplane 1 clove of garlic. And I'll ensure it's spread evenly. Add a bit of salt. Now it's time to mix it up. I'm adding 1/4 cup of water. Depending on the humidity of your place, you may or may not need some extra water. I needed some extra water, so I'm adding another 1/4 cup. Now it's time to mix it with our hands. As I was mentioning, papadums are associated with female empowerment, and the story behind this is women wanted to support their families, but they didn't have a lot of money to start a big business or anything. So what they did was they started to sell papadums on the street because it was a very affordable food product to make. And they went like hotcakes. And specifically, 7 Gujarati women from Mumbai, they came together in the late 1950s and they decided they would create a company together. And they all started selling the papadums, and they started off with very little money. And nowadays, guess what? It's a multi-million-dollar company employing 45,000 women. It is called Le Jaat if you wanted to look it up. Those same 7 women, this is how they started. They actually met because they lived in the same building. So they had a meeting one day on the terrace, and then that's when they decided they would make 4 packets of papadum. And then it continued from there. They had no money to invest in this business, and as they continued on, you would think that maybe they would borrow money to increase the business, but no, they did not borrow any money. They were even offered donations to get their business built up, but they refused the donations. They built this business by themselves and by themselves alone, and I just think it's an incredible and inspiring story. I laid out some parchment paper. We're going to lightly oil the surface. I'll just spread the oil around, and I'm going to coat this other half of parchment paper, which is going on top. So we'll place our dough. I split this into 2, but you're welcome to split it up more if you want smaller rounds. And it's up to you if you want that perfect look or the rustic look. So I'm going to roll them out one at a time because it's going to be easier that way. I discovered how difficult it was to get this thinned out as well as I wanted it to. You really had to press down. So now that it's rolled out, I'm adding some chili powder just for a nice extra spice. We'll just coat it around, and we'll pop it in the oven for about 20 minutes. You'll see it starting to brown. And we'll roll out our other piece of dough here. Add our chili powder to our second papadum. Now our first papadum is ready, so we're gonna swap them out. This was a bit comedic. There we go. Now we'll pop it in for 20 minutes. Here we go, we're ready with our second papadum. You will notice that I'm baking these papadums, but if you do deep fry them, you will get that more bubbly texture. And I have to admit, it does take time to try to get it as thin as possible. And you may worry as you're going about it. If it's your first time, you may worry about it breaking apart. So I recommend, if it is your first time, I recommend to do it in the smaller portion, the smaller rounds, rather than the big, bold, the big thin ones, because I think that it was more difficult. But if you start off making the smaller rounds, it may be easier to really press down and get that nice thin texture. Another little tip for papadums is once you roll them out, leave them to dry for a little bit. This will provide a crispier texture, so leave them to dry for a little bit before you put them in the oven. Now it's time to get everything set up for the taste testing part. My favorite part, of course. So I'm going to be trying our papadum and our mint chutney, aka Pudina. I tried to get these as thin as I could, and they are quite crispy. So, oh yeah, where's my spoon? So I'll break off a piece. It's great as an appetizer or even just as a snack. Very nice. As for the chutney, some people add a little bit more water, make it more thin, so that's up to you. And also with this type of chutney, it is common to add yogurt. So for the vegan version, of course, you can do unsweetened coconut yogurt such as Silk. That would work nicely. You already have some protein going on with the chickpeas. But if you just want a little bit more of a boost, say coconut yogurt, unsweetened. Be sure it's unsweetened, don't make the mistake. Sometimes some people get vanilla by accident, and that wouldn't work too well with this chutney. So don't make that error, okay? Here we go. A nice simple recipe, or a couple of recipes for you there. So let me know how you made out, if you've tried this recipe before or tried your own family recipe out before. Let me know if you make this often or you're going to be trying it for your first time ever. I'm interested to hear. And remember, if you have not already done so, subscribe to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, just type in, I'm a new subscriber, and I'll try to get back to you as well, okay? Hit that thumbs up button. Tune in every Monday for a new video. I'll be traveling the globe in my kitchen, keeping things interesting in my kitchen and in yours. Bon appetit.